The question is, can you have it all? And I suppose then the next question is, what is the all? Let's hedge our bets. Let's go. G'day. Hello and welcome to the Tequila Hour. My name is Amanda. Today is Sunday. It is the 29th of July. Apparently it is right now. Here in Australia it is 1:52 p.m. on a glorious, is the only way I can I could describe it in other words. Apparently I can't speak. It is a glorious Sunday, sunny afternoon, even though we are in winter here in Australia. Thank fuck for the sun. And there's no wind. So if you do yourself the pleasure of sitting out on your back veranda or, out with a group of friends on the water and you're just, basking in the gloriousness of the sun, then props to you. It is a beautiful day here. So, yay. And, let's get straight into it. First of all, as always, do I go there? Yes. Let's do some motherfucking admin. Let's do it.
Local news.
Okay. I'm trying something. We'll see if it works. You'd be like, Amanda, what are you trying? So a lot of the sounds that I use, which is via Epidemic Sounds, by the way, shout out, I use via my smash pads on my Rode Procaster 2. I am finding with my recordings, if I in any way, shape or form then manipulate, as in, I don't know, modified the speed or tone or volume of my voice to enhance the sound of my voice, then on the back end, obviously that affects any of the soundscapes that I have preset into my Rode Procaster. Yes, I probably should work that out if I was a sound engineer, but guess what? I'm not. And a girl has just got to do what she's got to do. So there you go. Hedge your bets. Why am I talking about this today? And it's a term that came to mind when you're in a place where, I'm straight into it. By the way, if you are someone who listens to my podcast regularly, first of all, thank you. Love that. Secondly, if you know, grab yourself a drink. This is the Tequila Hour. Today I am drinking tequila. I will put it in the description of this podcast. I've only had a couple. I'm not, how many sheets to the wind? Is that the saying? 10 sheets, 50 sheets sometimes to the wind? Yes. Do I like to partake in alcohol while I do podcasts? Yes. Why? Why not? Does it make me freer in what I want to speak about? Sometimes, it's an enhancement, in my opinion. It can be a detriment. It could probably very likely be that as well. But you know what? It's my podcast, so there you go. There you go. Hedge your bets. Why am I talking about it? Let's get back to the topic of this podcast today. I'm talking about it because hedge your bets. First of all, great saying. I'm going to give a little bit of, backdrop to what that saying actually means to my understanding. And why it actually became a title of my podcast, why I wanted to talk about it, is I am right now and have been in a place in my life where there's been multiple decisions. There's a lot. There's a lot that's been happening, not only, outwardly, as in, I've had to come to terms with something and then actually make a decision and then speak on that and bring it to life, bring it through action. There is also where there has been a substantial level of introspection in recent timeline events in my life for many, many reasons. And that's the thing. I'm now where, and I think I have, and I'm pretty confident that I have talked about this in the past, where, look, you can look at all the options, mate. You're at the casino, if you want to use the analogy, and you've got black and red. You're at the roulette table. You have a choice. Or you could just bet it all on one. Or you can put your spread out. Spread a little bit of red or spread a little bit on black. And this is the thing where I thought about this because, sometimes you have to just, play the field and give a little bit of here, a little bit there, hoping that all encompassing will come together and it will all work out in the end. And then there's a component for me where at the moment, like I just mentioned, a lot of introspection has occurred, which often occurs in the mind of Amanda Jeffrey. That's me, by the way. You already know this. I don't know what I'm saying now. That, yes, I will ruminate. I will think about things. I will often go deeper probably than anyone even imagines I go in regards to understanding why I'm feeling a certain way, or I made a decision and why did I do that, or, I had a conversation with someone in the kitchen and, at work, and I'm blow by blow re-examining every word that was said. Yep, that's how my mind works. So when I say to you there has been a lot of things that I've watched lately, about clearly, unless you live in a cave in the Blue Mountains somewhere, then you know that shit's going down, all right? In society, in a whole, in the community we live in, on Earth, in Australia, globally, everywhere, shit's going down, all right? There's a lot of shit that's going down. There's a lot of good shit though. So let's not, I don't want to live in the poo-poo, sad, ho-hum land, even though a lot of people can live in that and choose to. Simultaneously, no, I'm not oblivious and going to live in the happy, happy, joy, joy land and everything is wonderful. Everything is good when you're part of a team. Everything is awesome. Yeah, there's that. So I'm a realist. In saying that, though, can I live in a fantasal? Is that a word? No. Fantasable? No. I'm trying to make up words. Can I live in a fantasy land? I'll get there in the end. Yeah, I could. I am the kind of person that, if I chose to, I could go down that route and just live in my own fantasy reality, and that would get very hard because, my mind goes everywhere. So, yes, that would be challenging, but suffice to say I probably could do it if I tried hard enough. I am very mindful, though, that some of the things that I've watched, and if you know, yes, I watch a lot of YouTube. That's probably the primal place of social contact or social contact. That's interesting. Social connectivity, maybe. I watch a lot of YouTube, all right. You know I'm into the beauty space, mate. Deep dive, head over heels. I'm in that shit, in the trenches with the bitches, right? Love beauty, love skincare, all of that. Yeah, I watch random shit. Yes, I watched some tarot. I watch, Diary of a CEO as an example. I watch people who from time to time motivate me. Could that be a podcast about spiritual awareness? Could that be a podcast about AI? Could that be about quantum entanglement? Anything to do with quantum theories, processes, ideals? Highly intrigued by all of that and the above. And there has been a lot where, there's about surrendering. And it's when you say hedge your bets, you kind of like, in my interpretation, is like I said, go back to the analogy of the casino. Instead of just going all hard on red because you're convinced that it's going to fall on red in 27, that you hedge your bets and you put a little bit on red because that's really what you want to go. But just in cases, you might sprinkle a little bit of money love on black and a bit over here and a bit over there. And hopefully you might win something. And guess what? You don't win anything at all. And that happens. And this is the thing where I'm leading into a conversation around that and then saying, what if we just didn't hedge our bets? What if we, and like I said, circling back to going, just trusting your gut and going, okay, so I chose option A and I'm thinking of a situation, and I'm not going to tell you in its entirety, but I'm thinking of a situation. I've chosen option A. So I followed through with option A. I'm in option A. I'm in, right? It's a choice I made after knowing a choice had to be made but didn't know A was the destination, shall we say that. The choice is made, I'm in option A. Now, through the lens of someone who can't just sit in option A and needs to hedge their bets because they feel a sense that somehow, I don't know, perhaps option A wasn't the best option. Perhaps you want to have a backup plan because you have a backup plan, but then that could fail. So you want a fail safe? Is that the word fail safe is the word I'm looking for. You want something like that as a, your backup. Not that it's your out. Well, it could be depending on the situation, but you've got options. You're giving yourself options. You've made a choice. You're in the option A, air brackets. But then you're like, I'm going to hedge my bets. Light it up, hedge my bets. So I'm going to make sure that, I have a fail safe, but I'm also going to not ignore for the present time or whatever other options, okay? You're leaving yourself open. This can become, may I say, as I quickly take a sip of my drink, and yes, I'm sounding ambiguous and I like that word too, so I might say it a lot, a quick sip of my drink. Give me a second. Like I said, I'm drinking tequila. It will be in the description of this podcast, but may I say, it's quite tasty. So get on it. Highly recommend. Anywho, like I said, you're in option A. You've made your choice. You've followed through. You're in it. Yet you are someone who goes, yeah, I'm here, but mindful that, maybe I don't want to be here in 5 to 7 days. I don't know. So you have backups. You have your fail safe and then you have your back out plan. And really you even ponder, shall you even go there in your mind, to go, well, look, if I'm in option A and it all hits the fan, all the shit hits the fan, and, you know, for whatever your parameters are in regards to your choice and where you want to be in relation to option A, then you could also have the final resolution, which can be opt out altogether. Bam, I'm out. Now, why do I talk about this? I talk about this because, A, I've watched multiple videos, could be posts as well. There could be lots of things that have, you know, come into my psyche about just surrendering. So you've chosen your option and that you've chosen, you made your choice right. You've made it. So just be in it. Live it to its fullest potential and just it will work out. Or, shall I say, you have all these other options, okay? Because clearly from this conversation, I'm not just an all-in. I'm not just the person who will just go, I don't know. Today being the 29th, I've decided that I was actually going to give an example then, which I probably will do one day, but not today. Write down, we can use this as an example. I've talked about this. I want to move to Japan. The challenge is real. The thing for me is I will have it at the forefront of my mind and then I'll have it at the back, I don't know, in the back library in the secret room. Many reasons, if you can imagine, probably the fact that I have a full-time position that I need, I have things that I have to pay, and I have a husband that lives with me. So there's a couple of things, just a couple. There's a lot, all right? So, no, I'm not going to say, you know, today being the 29th as the 1st of July 2025, I'm going to just resign from my place of employment, leave my husband, magically obtain a trunk of money from somewhere and just move to Japan. That's not happening in 2 days. No, that shan't be happening. Will it happen one day where I move to Japan and circumstances have changed in regards to I'm retired or I win the lotto or lotto hoping, I don't know, I get a inheritance. These are things that could happen. Let's not just poo-poo things. These are things that could happen. So, yes, there could be circumstances where I just call it and I just suddenly say to all and a sundry that I'm moving to Japan. That could happen. Yes, if we wanted to get into semantics, there's shit that needs to happen before that happens. It's not like it's going to happen in one day, all right, motherfuckers, so let's get real. What I'm saying is I am not someone who will just, you know, go, guess what, I'm quitting and going to Japan, all right? I need to have some semblance of a plan. Clearly I need financial assistance. So there's, you know, I'm not just, I know, and I don't know anyone personally who I, you know, interact with on a day-to-day basis that have suddenly gone, guess what, I'm doing this. It's not like, you know, we can use the example of me cutting my hair, big whoop. Yeah, I cut all my hair off. People are still talking about it. It's a whole thing, all right? In the whole scheme of just doing shit, a lot of people clearly, which is quite surprising, are very surprised that I would just cut off all my hair and shave it off completely. That's one level, okay? In my opinion, that's a level. Is it kind of extreme? Maybe kinda. Not really. It's just fucking hair. It grows back. So to me, not a big deal. If I was to say, I don't know, like I said, go to work on Monday and say, guess what, I'm leaving today, this is my last day and I'm moving to Japan, that would be a major. That would be a major thing. Do I want to do that? Yes, it will happen one day. It won't happen this coming Monday, which is tomorrow. So there's that. Yet that's still, you know, brewing in the back of my mind. I need plans. I need options. I need, A, B, C, D, and E, and F. We all do. There is a freedom, though, in just going, which, cutting my hair being the example, which a lot of people clearly still have their thoughts around, just to do it. Do you know what I mean? And where's the level of just to do it and not have a backup plan? So, my backup plan for cutting off all my hair is that it'll grow back. It mightn't have grown back, but it has. Did I think about, this is the thing, maybe I need to think about this as an analogy for all of the things I want to talk about today, cutting off my hair. Because in the end, yeah, I cut my hair off, but it mightn't have grown back. But it did. It did. It mightn't have grown back. I'm, a woman of a certain... Sorry, I'm making myself laugh. I'm a woman of a certain fucking 52, big whoop. It could happen that it could have happened, really it could have, that, menopause and all that. We won't go into that today, but that shaving my hair could have basically accelerated the demise of my hair altogether. Therefore, I wouldn't have had hair. Did I take that into consideration when I shaved my hair off? No. Now, this is the thing. That's one aspect and one level. Now, you can see quite quickly when you think about it the levels, all right? Unless you're a fucking idiot. And you probably aren't listening. I won't give a picture of why you won't be. Very, very tempting. Yes, you can clearly see that there's a level to this, all right? There's, I don't know, you're at the shops at Woolies. Let's give another example. You're at the shops at Woolies, all right? You want a chocolate. You know you want a chocolate. You go to pick up the Mars bar and your fucking hand lands on the Snickers. And you buy the Snickers. You just do. You surrender to buying the Snickers. There's no back. Now, I'll stop you there. You could have a backup plan. You could buy the Snickers and buy the Mars bar because you'd be like, clearly my something wants the Snickers, or do you even go that far? Could it be just incidental coincidence that you went to pick up the Mars bar and your hand slipped and you landed on the Snickers? All right, there's one, all right? Or you could go, no, my mind and my hand and my body, even though I thought I wanted a Mars bar, I actually really do want a Snickers. So therefore, yes, I am control of my limbs, but my hand subconsciously, through the fact that, yeah, this is really what I want, but I'm fighting my own primal needs, my hand went to the Snickers bar and I picked it up. Now, your backup plan, your fail-safe going, I'm going to buy the Snickers, I'm going to buy a Mars bar, and guess what? I'm also going to buy a Kit Kat just in case. Just in case, the Snickers is shit, the Mars bar really doesn't hit the spot, or the Mars bar doesn't fill the hole, the gaping hole that I need it to fill. Therefore, I have the backup plan or the fail-safe, which is the Kit Kat. All right? There's all these. These are all the options. You can clearly see then when I'm talking about rerouting back to just making a choice and doing it and not having a fail-safe or a backup plan or option B, C, D, E, and F, that the hair cutting was one thing, right? The thing is, it really wasn't a big deal. It really wasn't, even though I feel like I'm harping it up here. It really, in the synopsis of my life, wasn't a big change, in my opinion, where a lot of people would seem to be, it would be. I would say to you, if I was to suddenly leave Australia and move to Japan and announce that tomorrow, that would be a massive change. And a lot of people would probably think that I've gone bonkers. Where is it? Where's that point where you stop hedging your bets? And these are similar themes, but align, all-encompassing. Where is it that you just make a choice and you don't hedge your bets at all? You don't hedge your bets at all. So the haircut is the example, all right? You know, I didn't hedge my bets. Did I, in a way, because I knew my hair would grow back? You probably could say yes. Could you say I hedged my bets by making sure that I eat a regular, set of nourishing food that would therefore stimulate hair growth, and therefore if I shaved my hair off, I would have hair grow back because I'm in a certain level of health. I was going to say synopsis is not the word, equilibrium, even though my health isn't. There's a level of equilibrium to allow my hair to grow, okay? So maybe, there is slight options there without getting too fanciful. The option about, like I said, just going to work tomorrow and saying I'm moving to Japan, clearly different, all right? You'd need multiple then backup plans, file safes, all the rest of it. But what if you didn't have one? And the other thing is, why do we look for one? And, we all know why. I mean, there's many reasons why, but straight away I'm like, because you're scared, because you don't have the resources, you don't have the money. It's a complete, like if we use the examples I'm talking about. But what if you took all that away? What if you didn't hedge your bets? What if you surrendered? And this is where I'm coming back to some of those videos that I've watched on YouTube where, you make a choice. Instead of hedging your as I swallow deeply, you hedge your bets, you make a choice, right? You made your choice. You're in option A. But then you just so hit the microphone, absolutely tune out from your very existence any other plausible option that could come into play now that you've chosen option A. This is where I sit today. Let me have a quick sip of my drink. This is where I sit today. Now, why do I want to talk about this? I'm all for hedging your bets, all right? I think you would be doing yourself a misservice if you weren't in, depending on what your options are and your choices being, that you didn't have a backup plan. Backup plans are great. Do they work all the time? No. But why wouldn't you have a backup plan? Do you know what I mean? Why wouldn't you? The options are there. Choose one at least, just in cases. What if I was to say to you, fuck the backup plan, fuck it all, right? Just make a choice and everything else will be, well, it shall be, que sera, que sera. Whatever shall be, shall be. The future is not what I asked to see, however it goes. Que sera, case motherfucking sera. That's it, okay? Even though you're in option A and you feel like you're being psychologically bombarded with like pew, 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 pew options. That's a motorbike in the background. Yes, I can't. He's a wanker. I don't know who he is. He's a dude in our street. A dude. Great analogy. Yeah, pew, 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 pew. Everywhere. All at once. You're getting bombarded with shit, all right? Options that could be aligned. This is the problem, though. Not only the options are there because you go, instead of option A, you could look at option B. What if I was to say to you then, one of the pew-pew that you're being provided is something that you've always wanted. But have you? This is a problem. This is conundrum that I currently face. Now, I'm talking about it because I actually came to a decision, and I always knew the decision. And you know why I came to the decision? Because I decided to surrender to the decision that I have made, to trust that I made the right decision, and to then wholeheartedly sit with that and ignore the pew, 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 pew. Oh, yeah, I see you, bitch. I see the options laid before me like a buffet of dreams, like my perfect Subway selection. Reckon he'll have little morsels of my favourite foot-long subs. I don't know. Yeah, I'll go with that. Let's do that. Yes, all the pew pew, all the noise. Okay, I'm right now. Yep, I'm going with it. I'm not being distracted, even though I have been. And this is why I want to talk about it today, because where is that mind shift? Where is that point? Where is that in your mind where you just go, yeah, I chose option A. I don't need to worry about all the other options, because now that I'm in the option, whatever may be, que sera, sera. And just that's it. So for someone who, like I've just described in very detailed, messy way, I like having lots of options, to go and sit in that place of like, yep, I'm okay with my option, and I see all the other options, bitch, and I'm not interested, and be wholeheartedly, completely decided in what you've done, okay, and ignore all the shit, ignore all the sparkly lights. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. And this is the thing. Why? Look, if I accept this, I'm exploring it live, and it kind of makes obvious sense why we feel like we want to hedge our bets. Let's explore me and use myself as an example. Why do I want to hedge my bets? Because, one, option B is an option that I've always wanted. But is it? So that's one. And this is where, if I was to say to you, one could lead down, we're at the roads now, okay? So let's then use the analogy that you're on a path. You've chosen a path, all right? You're finally on a path. The path is, you're finally in a comfortable one, okay? The path isn't, some weird goat track that you've just landed on. You've taken your due diligence, and you've finally got there, okay? You've slayed the dragon. I don't know what else you've done. You've gone through the hot pools of mud, all the rest of it, okay? You're on the track. You're on the road. You're on your path, whatever your path looks like. I'm using analogies. I'm feeling it. You're in, I don't know, a barren landscape, but it's not barren at all. It's barren in the sense there's no one around. Yes, you're on a road. It's probably dirt. It's not tarred. You're at a signpost, and the road clearly forks, okay? So you got left or right. There might be some little tiny trails that you might see that kind of look like trails, but not clearly marked, so probably not. But you do see two very distinct ways to go, right or left. So you've chosen right, okay, option A. You'll catch on. Yet, because the forest is not too dense and it's a beautiful path, you see the path, right? You're on it. You've now gone, yep, I'm in, all right? After a bit of, rumination and mindfuckery, you're in. You still look over to your right and you can see the path. Or, no, because, so I'm on the right path. Say I'm on option. Yeah, did I go right or left? Now I'm getting confused. Because I get my right. I'm on the right path, okay? I'm on the right. I'm on option A. You look over to your left with this, it's option B, right? You're in the forest. This forest is not too dense, but you can still see option B, right? Or as you walk along and you're feeling it and the air is fresh and you look over and there's a bloody, I don't know, a Chanel store over to the left giving free handbags. I know. I don't even want a Chanel handbag. Anyway, say it's something shiny and beautiful and something you've always wanted. I don't know, maybe it was a Porsche. I want one of them. There's a Porsche on the left-hand side, right? Okay, I'll use that analogy because it does tie in with my own story. Anyway, on the left, you're on the path, you're on the right path. You know it's the right path, right? Right. You look over, like I said, the forest isn't dense, and you see the Porsche. It's sorry, that was my phone in the background. I have a quick sip of drink. Tequila, yes. The Porsche is your favourite colour, which is orange, by the way, in a Porsche. That's I've decided on if I get one day. Yeah, it's the 911 you want. All right. But it's on the other one. It's on the other one. It's on the other path though. But then you see with your beady little eyes, or I don't know, someone suddenly appears on the track that you're on and they go, "Did you see that over there? Do you see the Porsche? Isn't that the Porsche you really wanted? The orange one, the 1973 model, the 911, the fucking sick interior, it's been modified." Like, you want to look over there? And you look and you're like, fuck, oh, she's beautiful. It's everything I've ever wanted. And you can see that, they're like, see that little path there that goes from this path to that path? If you take that path, you could get your Porsche. You might get it if you go over there. You might get it if you go over there. And you're like, nah. Tempting, because I really do, if you know me, I want a Porsche. That ties into financial. You might, if you want to play along, you might understand what I'm getting at. Financial matters, they're important in this day and day, aren't they? So there's that. So you go, nah. But then you go a couple more steps. I don't know, night turns into day, day turns into night. And bam, this other person appears. And they're like, look over there. Now, you've gone through the forest, you've gone through the clearing, it's gone deep into the forest, it's the next day. You're at an open clearing, the forest opens out, and you actually see both paths again, all right? You look over, the person's gone, look over there, right? Not only is the Porsche over there, but you know what? That sense of belonging, that thing that you keep exploring but just don't really get yet is worth. That thing where, you might actually get the things you think you need psychologically, because, that's a trigger over there. That you think you need over there. You're like, fuck. And to dangle the carrot apart from the Porsche, right, it's the one thing that you thought you wanted. Now, we all have things. There's items, okay, like the Porsche. It's a thing. It's a car. It's a beautiful thing, mate. If you like Porsches like me, it's up there. I'm not talking about material things. I'm now talking, and I'm leading still into financial things, but now I'm talking about that thing that you think will complete you. That thing that you think will garner you the respect that you've always wanted or believed that you should have had. The one thing that makes you feel wanted and needed. The one thing that you think will fulfill you. And these then leading to the psychological. And this is where the maker of the path really has a great time. Has a good old time, all right? And will do their fuckery, and it's fuckery, mind you, to trick you or elude you or illusion you to the path on the left-hand side. And that's where I really now circling back to the place where it's now the nighttime, okay? And I'm on the path. I'm still on the right path. And I know it's actually the right path. And there's the town folk on the other side, all right, on the left path. And, you know, like I said, it's nighttime and the sky is glorious and we're in the open field and I'm all alone on the right, but am I? That's the question. And you look over and you see the sparkling lights of a party on the left-hand side and you see all your friends and you see the potential of what could be because it's something that you've always thought would bring you the peace that you wanted. And then there's that voice that goes, but you made a choice. Why are you hedging your bets? Why are you hedging your bets? You're at the casino. Let's go back there. You've got red and black. You can just put it all on motherfucking black and just trust and believe in whatever or nothing at all because really you can't control unless it's a dodgy fucking roulette wheel thing, whatever it is, table, that it's out of your control completely. It is chance or however you want to fucking say it, that you will win or you'll lose, right? You're on the path. You've made your choice. Why are we hedging our bets? And then it comes back to all that stuff, doesn't it? Where we can't just, again, just trust, just surrender. You've made a choice. That's it. As human beings, to hedge your bets, but then to have the freedom of not hedging your bets at all, I am not that person, clearly, because I can think out loud of how many times I've just through this podcast right now, speaking to you, thought about how easily I could be distracted by all my options. How liberating, and I don't know, I do, but I'd like to think people do as well. How liberating would it be just to go, yeah, I've chosen option A and there's nothing else. And you don't even think about all the backup plans, fail safes and all the rest of it because you've made the choice and there's nothing else that can slay or counteract or contradict or influence any other choice that you've made than the choice that you did. And how freeing that must feel like. And I'll be honest, I've never been like that. And this is the thing. I know it's clearly innate in us as human beings. I would hazard a guess that the more intelligent you are, take that as you will, but anyone who has some semblance of intelligence and personal intelligence then would just subconsciously have the need to have backup plans, because you would always question that the choice you make is the right one, or you're on the right path, or all of the above. But how freeing would it be to just make a decision and do it? Now, I've done that. It's just interesting that you can only do it to certain things, where I'm saying to you, you do it to all things. Now, that's a massive leap, and I don't know then, without digging out even deeper than what I'm talking about today, where you just go, yeah, this is the choice and there's nothing else. You're not even thinking about it. And my husband's just got home from the shops and he can see him outside. And he's probably like, he's like, what are you doing? No. This is the thing. This is the choice that we make. And I understand logically that as human beings we're compelled to have all these backup plans, because in the end we're just afraid or scared that it could all go wrong, and we just want to, we're just trying to look after ourselves. And, without even going through all the semantics of questioning all our decisioning, there's that. But in the end, we want to hedge our bets, because we just always want to have the safety net of thinking that, look, if shit on option A goes wrong, I've always got option B. And I don't know anyone personally who lives in a space of just option A is it, and there's no option B, C, D, E or F. It's just you make a choice and you're wholeheartedly aligned to that choice that you make, and there's no questioning, there's no concern or, exploration and all of the above. You just go, yep, I see the sign, and I see the sign on the fork of the road, and I'm going down option A, and yeah, I see the path. But they actually don't even see the path then, I'm assuming. Or maybe for a split second they see the path and then they say option A, and then that's all they see. And to completely, I don't know if it's ignoring, or because your mental head space or thoughts or all of the above is just so, it's not questionable or questioned, because your decision was so decisive that there's no room to make, or your mind doesn't give it room to create all these variables that could be. And that's the thing, clearly that's just about personality and personality types and, your way you're brought up and all that shit. All your mental stuff. It's all in the head, right? But that's the thing, just thinking about that example of, those levels that I was talking about, where you make a choice, and, the hair cutting thing wasn't, to me, that traumatic. But at the same time, okay, so I'm just, is it because there could be influence from others? I don't know. Anyway, sorry, got lost in my own thoughts for a second. But yeah, I can only imagine, and I want to imagine, because I have come to a decision, because I did let myself, and which is very uncomfortable, and I have been uncomfortable for a little while, of sitting in a place of just examining it all and then going to myself, well, okay, these are the parameters I need to set. I know I've got good hiking boots on. Option A, that's a good example. That, yeah, I'm curious as to a person, and like I said, I don't know one, and if you happen to be one of those people that I'm talking about that, you know, just makes a decision and there's no second guessing at all. There's no hedging at all. What that would actually mentally feel like. I can't fathom it, because I really can't. But I'm so curious to understand, and I think for me, I don't know, maybe once this could be my complete changing mindset, and yes, it definitely is my complete changing of mindset around a lot of things, that not only am I aware of, you know, the Porsche or the town of people in the clearing on the left-hand side, but then choosing my option and staying with that and being comfortable with going, well, yeah, I don't have any Band-Aids in case I get blisters, and, you know, if that happens, I'll deal with it. And being okay with that. It's a very, I know I'm using a lot of analogies. I'm liking it, I'm feeling it. It's a very interesting way to think about things, to just not overthink everything, because that's what I do. And even saying to herself, well, okay, you overthink, you know, is overthinking hedging your bets? I don't know. In a way it is, but in a way it's not, if that was always your way of doing things. You know, if that's the way you operated, then it's completely logical. Is it illogical to have a hedge on red and black? I mean, in the casino, depending again on, I don't know, if you want to take things that could come into the equation like financial things, air brackets, then, oh, sorry, I saw a sick car. Yeah. Wow, I don't even know what that was, but it was a sick car. Yeah, if you didn't, you know, if you take the financial, this is the thing. I know it depends on the situation, clearly. I'm not a complete moron. It's where, you know, in the example of the casino, if you've got a shit ton of money, you mightn't care if you would just go all on red, all right? Place all your bets on red. It doesn't even come into your existence of life to question, to hedge and put a bet on black, because you've got the financial means that isn't even a conversation in your mind. I just doubt, and this is just me because I'm not like this at all, I just doubt that even the richest person, and I don't know anyone who would be like this, even the richest person who, you know, has enough money just to bet it all on red and not hedge, would not in some way, shape or form have some little tinge of like, but don't you want to put a little bit over here? I mean, that's the thing. Is it entirely I don't know, a mind process, a thought process that is inherent, singularly? Is that a word? No. Is it an inherent process or thought process? And I'm not a psychologist, so I don't know. So if I knew one, I'd probably ask this question, but they probably wouldn't answer it. Is this a type of thought process that everyone on a human basis has? Like every single being has this thought process where they feel like they have to hedge their bets, even if they were the example of the casino, they're mega rich and they don't even need to? Or is it through life experience where, you know, say we don't have that, okay, that need to hedge, and, you know, through life circumstances, that's the reason why we then feel the need to hedge. And so there's those two things. And then for me, it would be like, I'd love to meet a person, you know, and I suppose it comes down to mitigated risk, doesn't it? Because, yeah, you know, like I said, for me, cutting off my hair wasn't a risk because I'm like, it will grow back. But like I said, it mightn't have grown back because of my age and I know nutrition, whatever. It did though, right? But what's the mitigated risk between that and then saying, you know, I'm on the right-hand side and across the clearing I see the group of, you know, I see the town community over there and I see like a small path and, yeah, I see some divots and holes and a big crocodile across the lake. The bridge is broken. That, yeah, I could just go over there. And, yeah, I would be curious to know if in terms of psychology, that sense of hedging your bets is an innate psychological fail-safe as a human being that we have, or is it through life circumstances, through, I don't know, everything can't be, I don't know, as a child, are you hedging your bets? Seems more like an adult thing to me, so I don't know, I could be inaccurate around that, but if it's not an innate personality trait, a psychological trait in a person, as in people in general and human beings, that we are hardwired to have the inclination to hedge your bets, then is it then through life circumstances of the human that you just are forced psychologically to hedge your bets because you just cannot, absolutely not in any way, shape or form, just to surrender to making decision and being, that's it. Like I know, like I said, the chocolate example where, you know, that's a bit slightly different because, you know, really you always wanted the Snicker. Guess what, bitch? You always wanted it. If I was to say to you, yeah, you just picked up the Snicker because you want the Snicker and you bought it. And yes, chocolate is very alluring for most people as a temptation. It would be quite easy for your mind's eye to be tempted by the Mars bar and the Kit Kat. But what if I was to say you were so laser focused in your mind, depending on what your decision was, that you never question your decision at all. Therefore, you never question the outcome of the decision You just made the decision, and everything else will be what it shall be. Que sera. Que sera. Now, where does that lead us today? Today, where that leads us is I am on the right-hand side, on the path. I see the town. And I'm actually surrendering as I nod my head and you don't see me, that the choice I made is the right choice for me. And I'm not going to look forward to try and work out what I can see in the distance, because I can kind of see something. I'm like, squinting. No. I am just putting one foot in front of the other. I have the right hiking boots on. No, I don't have any Band-Aids, but I'm not even concerned. I am just walking on the path, and I am choosing proactively not to hedge my bets. And that is what I would suggest you do too. The end. The end. So, thank you to those who listens to this podcast on a regular basis. I am very close to reaching a personal milestone for me. When I do reach it, I will let you know what it is and how excited I will be. So thank you to those who do download this podcast. It does mean a lot to me. You can listen to this podcast via your favourite streaming platforms, mine being Spotify, but Apple is also one that you can use as well. You can also listen to this podcast via YouTube. So I do have the Tequila Hour page. And in regards to anything I post in regards to the Tequila Hour, I do have Instagram pages as well of the same title, believe it or not. And finally, if you ever do want to reach out to me, if there's something that you would like my opinion on, or you want me to talk about anything at all, there's a lot to talk about. So if there's something you'd like to talk about, you can reach out to me anytime via my email address, which is info@thetequilahour.com.au. Anyway, thank you. I'm going to leave it there today. Have a great weekend, and I'll catch you on the next one. See ya. Bye.
Step my game. Step my game. Step my game. Step my game. Step my Step my Step my game. Step my game. Step my step my step my step my